Oftentimes, movie producers and directors face the difficult situation of having to make a change in their movie. Whether it's the cast, location, or script, these changes make a big impact on the final result. Luckily, some of these decisions made the movies we love even better. These are the great decisions that saved popular movies.
It's only my opinion, sir.
Stuart Townsend is not precious, or Aragorn. In 1999, Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson cast Stuart Townsend, star of the poorly received League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, in the iconic role of Aragorn. That is, until he was fired the day before filming was set to begin. Townsend said, "The director wanted me and then apparently thought better of it because he really wanted someone 20 years older than me and completely different. I have no good feelings for these people in charge, I really don't." Viggo Mortensen was brought in as a replacement and quickly became a fan favorite, and the career boost helped him land other major film roles and an eventual Oscar nomination. Depp's Pirate Dance. When Johnny Depp sat down for the first table read of Disney's theme park to movie franchise Pirates of the Caribbean in 2002, he decided to give Captain Jack Sparrow eccentric, unconventional mannerisms. Depp was inspired by Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards, who he felt shared many similarities to 18th century pirates. In response, Disney executives asked Depp if the character was simply drunk all the time, then eventually told him he was ruining the film altogether.
You're despicable.
Sticks and stones, love.
Depp's response? Trust me or fire me. A Screen Actors Guild Award, a Golden Globe nomination, and an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, as well as 4 sequels totaling $4 billion, show that Mickey Mouse made the right decision that day. Carnahan. In 2002, Joe Carnahan, director of Smokin' Aces and the A-Team, took over Mission Impossible 3 from Fight Club director David Fincher. For 15 months, Carnahan assembled an all-star cast for the Tom Cruise threequel, including Kenneth Branagh, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Scarlett Johansson. But then Carnahan quit. After a disagreement over the tone of the film, Carnahan left the project in 2004, and Cruise, after watching the first 2 seasons of Alias, found a replacement in its creator, J.J. Abrams. So, with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Simon Pegg on board as well, Cruise and Abrams helped reinvigorate the struggling franchise, paving the way for Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and beyond. Shark Tank. With $4 million and a 55-day shooting schedule, Steven Spielberg set out to make Jaws. But first he needed a shark. After spending a large portion of the budget on a terrifying mechanical shark with crossed eyes, and another which sank to the sea floor, Spielberg saw the cast and crew turn on him.
I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief.
Locals began leaving dead sharks on his front step, and when producers wanted Spielberg to find a shark trainer, he knew he had to come up with a plan. "I had no choice but to figure out how to tell the story without the shark," Spielberg said, "so I went back to Alfred Hitchcock." What would Hitchcock do in a situation like this? It's what we don't see which is truly frightening. What comes next, as they say, is movie history.
Smile, you son of a...
Makes you wonder about the shark trainer, though. Shawshank's Redemption. The Shawshank Redemption, starring Tom Cruise as Andy Dufresne and Harrison Ford as Red, is how the film would have looked if Rob Reiner had his way. After directing the Stephen King adaptations The Body and Stand By Me, Reiner offered $2.5 million to writer-director Frank Darabont to turn over the rights and let him take over the project.
Tax-free? Tax-free. IRS can't touch 1 cent.
After seriously considering the offer, and even liking Reiner's new direction for the project, Darabont ultimately refused, deciding that it was his chance to do something really great.
What are you talking about? Hope.
Although it didn't perform well at the box office, Shawshank was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Adapted Screenplay for Darabont, who went on to do the other Oscar-nominated The Green Mile and the record-breaking series The Walking Dead. Robert De Niro is big. In 1987, Penny Marshall set out to make the now legendary coming-of-age film Big, starring Tom Hanks. However, if it weren't for a $4 million disagreement, it would be Robert De Niro telling you about a glow-in-the-dark compass, and not Hanks.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Having already committed to the movie's dragnet and punchline, Hank simply had too many scheduling conflicts and was forced to turn down the role of Josh Baskett, so Marshall offered it to De Niro instead. Without enough money to lock down De Niro's salary demands and Hank's schedule opening up, all returned to normal, and Marshall became the first female director to have a film gross more than $100 million at the box office. RDJ is A-OK and Iron Man. In 2006, Robert Downey Jr. was slowly making his return to Hollywood with cult hits like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, A Scanner Darkly, and Zodiac. But that wasn't enough to become Iron Man, according to Marvel. Director Jon Favreau said, "I remember when we cast Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man, and I was told no several times. That was a big gamble on whether or not he was really serious about it. And now history has definitely proven that he was dead serious about it. Now he's the biggest star in the world." As far back as 2004, it was Tom Cruise trying to get the project made. But in 2005, he lost interest in Iron Man's status and chose to work with Spielberg on War of the Worlds instead. Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. In 1981, fresh from Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back, George Lucas began casting his new adventure film, Raiders of the Lost Ark. The problem? Lucas didn't want Harrison Ford. Trying to avoid hiring Ford for a fourth time, Lucas instead hired the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Selleck. He was perfect for the part. "I can't imagine anybody else in that part," Lucas said of Selleck. Unfortunately, the actor just filmed the pilot for a little show called Magnum P.I. and couldn't get out of his contract. Spielberg suggested Ford as a replacement, and Lucas agreed, with only 3 weeks before filming.
Trust me.
Back to Stoltz's future. While starring in the TV show Family Ties, Michael J. Fox was cast in the lead role of a time travel movie called Back to the Future. Unfortunately, the network wouldn't give Fox time off to make the film because they considered him the reason why the show was successful.
We have more time. Wait a minute. I got all the time I want. I got a time machine. I can just go back early and warn him.
Producers had to cast someone, so they did. Eric Stolz. 4 weeks into filming, and director Robert Zemeckis, who also co-wrote, had enough and determined Stolz was miscast and too humorless. In secret, Stolz actually agreed with Zemeckis. With $3 million now added to the film's $14 million budget, Fox's schedule eventually opened up and he was cast because, unlike Stolz, producers felt that he had the personality of Marty McFly.
I'm from the future.
Witherspoon, get gone, girl. After starring in Water for Elephants and This Means War, Reese Witherspoon began adapting the Gillian Flynn novel Gone Girl for film, with producer Leslie Dixon. Shortly after the first draft of the script, director David Fincher joined the project and set a few things straight. Namely, who won't be in the movie? Reese.
I'm gonna pass out.
We had a long conversation where he was like, "You're not right for it, and this is why." And I actually completely agreed with him, said Witherspoon. Instead, Rosamund Pike was cast and earned an Oscar nomination for the role. Gone Girl earned nearly 100 award nominations, including nods from Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globes, the Academy Awards, and even the Grammys, so the decision was a good one.
But if I could go back in time, I wouldn't do a single thing differently.
So what do you think? Did these decisions make these movies better? Comment below and don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel.